Hi everyone, I'm here for something a little different today. I want to share an update and a full review of my Mockmill benchtop grain mill that I've owned and used consistently now for 7 years. You might notice a sponsorship notification that comes up on this video, but to be fully transparent, this video is not sponsored by anyone, it was not requested by anyone, and I purchased this Mockmill 200 from Germany in 2018 with my own money. This video is flagged as sponsored because I receive a small commission from any Mockmill sales that are made through the referral links and the discount codes on my website, but otherwise this video is not sponsored by anyone aside from me. I just want to tell you all about these machines, basically. I've identified the main questions I think potential buyers might have, and I'll go through them one by one, and then I'll give my final thoughts at the end. So firstly, why own a flour mill at all? People have their own reasons, but for me in 2018, I started eating a whole foods plant-based diet to reduce my intake of refined processed foods and to naturally increase the fiber in my diet, to be honest. At that point, as a keen home baker, I made the decision to go forward with only 100% whole grain sourdough breads and to get the freshest whole flours available for my bread, and to give me the chance to make bread from a wide variety of cereal grains, getting a mill was really a no-brainer. Freshly milled flour is a truly amazing thing. It smells fresh, looks fresh, tastes fresh, it ferments really well for sourdough, and it retains a lot of nutrients that can be lost or degraded in commercial flour refinement and storage practices. You don't have to worry about storing flour to keep it fresh. You just mill what you need when you need it and nothing goes to waste. You can also save a lot by buying whole grains in bulk, which have a much longer shelf life than flours do. And you can buy freshly milled flour from some farms and larger mills, but it's not always accessible and you can't get the wide variety of weird and wonderful flours that you can make at home with your own mill. That's not to say that you absolutely need a mill. There are great people doing great work making very fresh whole flours available to bakers in Australia and in various other countries, and you can make this work for you, especially if you're content with one or two types of flour, usually wheat flours. But home milling is really for the super enthusiast who wants to try everything and have a lot of fun with it and have a lot of diversity in their bread making and their baking, and I definitely fit into that category. Next, we'll talk about the setup of these machines. They're really easy to set up. They come very well packaged, which I can't show you because I got rid of my packaging a long time ago, but I remember it being very well packaged and it came with easy setup instructions. You just take it out of the box, remove the travel braces that stop the stones and the motor moving, and after a quick test run with some rice to clean out the stones, you're off and milling. The only things that I've kept over these years are the milling instructions booklet and the travel braces, which are important to keep in case you ever need to travel with the mill or if you move house. Next, how does a Mockmill work? How fast does it grind, and what can you mill in it? The different Mockmill models vary in their appearance, housing materials, motor size, and methods of adjustment, but essentially they all work in the same basic way. This model is super easy to use. You put a bowl under the spout at the front, you turn the mill on, adjust the lever depending on how fine or coarse you want your flour to be, and then you add the grain to the hopper at the top. The grain flows down through a hole at the base of the hopper and is fed in between the two stones inside that grind the flour, which then falls down through the chute at the front into your bowl. The Mockmill 200, which I have, mills about 200 grams of wheat flour per minute. The Mockmill 100 mills 100 grams of flour per minute, but otherwise they're the same machine. It only takes a couple of minutes to mill enough flour for a loaf of bread. You can mill all kinds of cereal grains, pulses, legumes, and dry spices in a Mockmill, but you cannot mill oily seeds or anything that contains a high fat or moisture content or it will clog up the mill. If the mill does clog up and stop running, which has happened to me while trying to mill oats too finely, they're a little bit too fatty and they do clog it up, you just use the lever to open up the stones to a wide, coarse flour setting and then run some white or some brown rice through the mill, first coarsely, then on a finer setting, and repeat this process a couple of times if you need to, or until the stones are cleaned off and the mill is running again. If you're milling dry cereal grains like wheats, rice, millets, sorghums, legumes, buckwheat and things like that, you'll have no trouble grinding beautiful fine flours, and you can adjust the grind very easily to make more coarse flours if you want to as well. If you do get a Mockmill, never ever clean the millstones with water or anything damp. They need to stay dry at all times. I made another video with a full demonstration of the mill, including how to clean the inside and adjust and calibrate the lever, so I'll link that below for your reference. I'm a bit slack and I don't clean out my mill very often, but I've never had any issues with it, and I only clean it a couple of times a year. They're really simple to clean. I just wipe the bench top underneath my mill occasionally to pick up any flour dust, and I wipe the outside housing to dust that off occasionally too. It's a pretty basic procedure to clean the outside. What are the pros and cons of having a Mockmill? I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible in this video, but I honestly think these machines are fantastic. I have never had an issue with mine in 7 years, other than clogging it up with oats a couple of times, which was an easy fix. My machine still works the same way today as it did on the day that I got it. There is no wear and tear that I can detect, and I'm sure this mill will last me for many more years, if not decades to come. Unfortunately, I can't compare this to other types of grain mills because this is the only one I've ever owned. And stone mills for grinding flour have been used by humanity for millennia. So for me, the fundamentals of this design are based on a really solid, simple concept, and they just work. Some of the higher end Mockmill models have beautiful wooden housing, but I actually really like my little Mockmill 200 with its eco-plastic housing. It's easy to clean, it doesn't look out of place in my kitchen, and it's got a nice, neat, small footprint on my bench top. You could have one of these in a small kitchen, I think, and it wouldn't be too much. There are only two potential issues with Mockmills that I know of, and the first of these is that they're really loud. It depends on the grain that you're milling, but hard cereals can really crack loudly when they hit the stones, and the grinding sound can be too loud for me personally when I'm standing beside it. I do have really sensitive hearing though, and I'm very protective of my hearing due to past issues with partial hearing loss. So I just wear earmuffs, and I keep those close by on the side of my fridge whenever I mill flour. That solves that problem. The other downside these days is the cost. Unfortunately, many high quality appliances like these have increased in price a lot since 2020. And I think if I wanted to buy one today in 2025, I would still do it because it's been a great thing for us. And honestly, I wouldn't want to be without my mill, but I might have to save for it now or prioritize it over other discretional spending, depending on my financial situation at the time of the purchase. I'd probably think about it a bit more and really evaluate if I really wanted it. There are some discounts available in various places for purchasing a new Mockmill, and in Australia you can receive a 5% discount with my promo code EVERYDAY when you purchase through Van Roy in Melbourne, and they ship nationwide. There's a page on my website with all of the links and discounts available in various places. I will put a link to that below, or you can just do a Google search for Ellie's Everyday Mockmill and that page will come up. So what are my final thoughts? It's probably no surprise to you by now, but I love my Mockmill 200, and still today, as in every day that I've had it since 2018, I don't hesitate to recommend these to anyone. As a whole foods enthusiast and a very keen whole grain sourdough home baker, I would be quite lost without this machine. Every loaf of bread, every cake, every biscuit, pancake, muffin, bread roll, flatbread, everything that I make that is made with flour starts with whole grains that I mill myself with this machine. I really adore the freedom of it. I love to buy all kinds of weird and wonderful grains to add into my recipes, and it is just loads of fun and it's really, really satisfying. And that's all I've got to say, really. I hope you found this video helpful. Please chat with me in the comments if you've got any queries or thoughts of your own that you'd like to share with me or with others down there, and check out the links I mentioned in the video description. Also, take a look at all of the recipe videos on this channel. I've shared many of them over the years, and the vast majority of them feature freshly milled flour made with my Mockmill 200. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you again soon. Take care.